Friends, fans, haters, hello and welcome back to another video. If you're new here, what's up? My name is Erica. I hope you stick around, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you're new. I'm really excited because today we have a week of workout video. So this is actually just an intro. It's not a vlog. Sorry to get you excited. This has been a very requested video on especially Instagram. I get lots of DMs or people filling out the question box saying do a week of workouts. So I finally was able to film an entire week. It's just hard because I don't really film that much in the gym. Or I'll film things more for like Reels or Instagram. So trying to film for YouTube, I was like, film for YouTube. So I hope you guys like it. Just so you know ahead of time, I currently have a 5/6 day gym split with 4 lifts, 2 upper, 2 lower, and then one day is like a circuit or like endurance training, and then another day is kind of more cardio based where I'll usually do boxing. I didn't film any of the boxing just because it's harder to film boxing because usually I'm doing it in class, but just so you know, so we've got 5 workouts coming at you now. I hope you guys enjoy. In case you're wondering, this is my friend Lauren. You're going to see her a lot throughout this video because she's recently started coming to the gym with me. Now, the first day in my workout split is almost always a glute-focused day, so I have an entire day focused more on the glutes and also the posterior chain, including the hamstring muscles. So starting off, you always want to do some glute activation, really working on waking up the, butt muscles. First exercise I actually do after I do glute activation today, this is going to be single leg hip thrust. You're going to do 4 sets of 8 reps per leg. It is brutal, but again, it really works the glutes and helps really start to get them awake as well. Now, the next exercise that we have is a little bit easier, but also still targets a lot of the side part of the glutes, the glute medius. So these are going to be a banded hip thrust with an abduction at the top. When you're doing that abduction, you really want to make sure that when you separate your legs and push out, that you don't let that resistance snap your legs into place. You want to kind of always be fighting against that resistance, even when you come back to that neutral hip width stance. Still try and be forcing your knees out ever so slightly. Look at my face, it's so painful. Next up, we have split squats. This, as you can see, is like a lunge style position, but rather than, stepping into that reverse or stepping forward, you're just kind of maintaining that wide leg stance. You can also do Bulgarian split squats. It's a good way to target the exact same area of the glute, but I find that Bulgarians, you can also accidentally target your quads if you're not doing them the right form. So split squats are a little bit easier to kind of constantly feel in that glute and never really feel in your quad, at least in my experience. Now, the last exercise that we have is going to be some good old standard RDLs. I personally love RDLs. They not only really work the glute, but also work the hamstring a lot. So they really work the entirety of the posterior chain. One thing I love is that when you're working RDLs and you feel it in your hamstring, it really helps kind of create that nice curve that goes from glute, then indent, then out to hamstring.
Erica, this is an interview. What is your favorite workout?
Conventional deadlifts.
Oh, that sounds bougie. How many of them do you do?
I'm doing them for reps, like try and go for like a 4x8, 4x10.
And what do they help? What do they help develop? What muscles?
So conventional deadlifts are a really good, actually a good full body workout. But I like them especially when I'm working my posterior chain, so working like hamstrings and glutes. Some people do it on back. So the next day in my workout split is a push-focused upper body day. So push, if you do not know, consists of the muscles triceps, chest, and shoulder. It's called push because majority of these muscles do mostly pushing motions. As you can see, when I'm doing this bench press, I am pushing the weight essentially away from my body. So working that chest and shoulders to, again, push it away from myself. Ugh, don't you just love a good PB lift? I get so much energy after and get so excited. So next we have an upright row, and you may be asking yourself, Erica, it almost looks like you're pulling the weight upwards. Well, you kind of are, but again, it's focusing specifically on that shoulder movement. So that's, again, shoulders are within the push range, because majority you do is pushing. Like within this motion here, for the shoulder press, you're pushing that weight away from your body and controlling it. Really want to keep your core tight and engaged. I believe I'm doing 4x8 within this series, and usually for the last 2, even 3 reps, sometimes you could feel that struggle. If you're not struggling, you want to up those weights. Now next you're going into lateral raise. Essentially you want to keep it tight. Again, don't use your rear delts too much, really just keep it in that focused shoulder movement. Next, we are going to go into incline front raises, again, working mostly the shoulder muscle. When you're at this incline, I do find that it increases the range of motion, so you can kind of have a longer swing, even though you're not swinging, it's controlled. I do find that these also work the rear delt a little bit also, but just be careful trying to get into that position because it's a bit awkward on the bench. Now, we've got a good old classic face pull. This, again, works the back half of the shoulder and as well as works your triceps a lot in my experience. You really want to control it and reaching again upwards and squeezing your back as well. Now, last but not least, we have a superset to finish up this day of the workout split. So right now we are doing some cable flies. You kind of want to be focusing on getting that weight down and under, if that makes sense. I always try and pretend like I'm hugging a bear or like a beach volleyball. Really kind of focusing especially on the chest muscles within this one. And then directly after you finish your cable flies, you're going to drop into push-ups and do push-ups to failure. Now, I definitely struggle doing full standard push-ups, but I do them like this a little bit, where I'm really easing slow on the, I believe, the eccentric movement, and then I push up on my knees, just because as of right now, I can't really push up when I'm on my full feet. So if you struggle with push-ups, this is definitely another way to help get yourself, a little bit more comfortable and continue to, why am I like this? I'm just watching this and it's really goofy. But yeah, so this is another way to start practicing your push-ups even more compared to just always doing them on your knees. Now, next up for this week of workouts, we are on to day 3, which is usually going to be another leg day. Now, compared to the first day, which is a little bit more glute or hamstring focus, we are going to have a little bit more quad focus. So, as you can see, I'm doing some standard leg press. Within this, I want to make sure I have a relatively narrow stance and really focus on, again, engaging all those quad muscles, kind of dropping down as low as I can, keeping my heels pressed into the leg press machine. You can't have a good leg day without some squats, so we're working on those now. I would have done these first because you always want to do those heavier compounds first. So squat, deadlift, bench press, but someone was using it when we got there earlier. So this is now, I believe, my 3rd or maybe 4th set. So as you can see, the weight's a little bit higher at this point, and I'm doing shorter sets, only of like 4 or 5 or so reps. Now, my gym does not have a hack squat machine, so if yours also does not, doing landmine squats is a really good alternative. As you can see, I set the bar up like a landmine, put that weight on it, and then I kind of lean back, so you want to have your feet definitely a little bit ahead of you. You're on a slight angle, and then essentially just squat. These really, really work the quads so incredibly, and I tell you what, they really, really burn. It's a bit awkward at first, but once you get it, it feels so good on the muscles. Now, last but not least, we then have a superset of leg extension and a single leg extension. So as you can see now, I'm doing the dual legs. You're gonna have a higher weight on the double leg than obviously as you would on the single leg. So now I'm gonna go and decrease the weight a little bit and then just kick the one leg. You really want to only be using the one leg. Don't let the second leg utilize itself at all. Now, kicking off day 4, today is a pull focused upper body day. So you're going to be doing the pull muscles, including the back and biceps mostly. So as you can see, me and Lauren are currently doing the same exercise, but slightly different. So we are doing a superset actually, which you'll see a switch right now. Superset of lat pull down, one with a wider grip. That was the one that Lauren initially was on, that I'm now on the right hand side, to then a narrow grip on the left hand side. So we superset those 2 exercises. Now this next one definitely I feel like is not that commonly known. At least I never see anyone else do this, and it is what is called a garanda row. Now with the garanda row, it's almost like a vertical lat pull down. So you're kind of again pulling down that weight or pulling it towards your chest, but then you're pushing it down slowly and out. It's kind of like a row the boat motion, but just really slow, really controlled. I absolutely love this, and I find it actually really works your core well too when you're doing it really controlled. Next up, we have a standard single arm row. As you can see, again, to basically a tabletop position, kind of prep myself a little bit with my front arm, and then you're just gonna row that arm back, extending it down, and then back, kind of making a 90-degree angle with your elbow. After that, we go into bicep curls. I personally am not actually a fan of bicep curls. Not that I'm not a fan of working my bicep, I prefer doing hammer curls, but today I had bicep curls written into my plan, so trying to not stay, too comfortable, always trying to work myself a little bit harder. But as you can see, they're just a little bit more uncomfortable for me for some reason. I don't know if it's because of my chest or what, but just find them a bit more difficult than hammer curls. But yeah, always gotta keep working yourself hard. Now the fifth and final day of this week of workouts is going to be circuit day. Now I've been loving circuit day, and y'all on my Instagram have really been loving circuit day as well, so I'm excited that we're both liking this. I definitely was a bit hesitant with my training split. I used to have 5 lifts, 3 lower body, 2 upper body. So going from 4 lifts and a circuit has really been interesting, but I've been loving the change. As you can see, the first exercise was tire flips. This is the last set of this circuit. We did 4 whole rounds of the entire thing, so I was really tired. But so tire flips to start. Then after the tire flips, you're gonna jump down and do feet elevated glute bridges. This one really is a lower body focus one as well. So you're still kind of working that lower, especially the glutes, a little bit more. And then the next you have is narrow stance squats. I really struggle with narrow stance because I have a short Achilles and I struggle to keep my heels down. So especially kind of focusing on them a little bit more has been really good and helped me in my larger squats with like a barbell. And then last but not least, you have a tried and true kettlebell swing. I love kettlebell swings. They work so much of the body, especially the posterior chain, and they really get you sweating. So absolutely love them. I hope you guys liked this video and liked all these workouts. Give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're new, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.